Hi, this is another in a series of videos about my experience with various video game consoles. GameCube. GameCube was my high school system. It came out when I started high school. We got it pretty soon after it came out, maybe even at launch. I'm not really sure. We were in on it right away. And it's kind of a weird system, right? Like, this is Nintendo kind of like completely losing it to their competitors, right? This is the PS2 era, which is like maybe the most popular or best-selling video game system of all time. The GameCube was not that, right? I don't even think the GameCube beat out the original Xbox. I think the GameCube had like 20 million sold or something like that, 22 million. It did not do well, right? Like the N64 era, everybody loves, but PlayStation was kind of kicking its butt, and there was a whole bunch of issues between Nintendo and third-party developers and all that stuff. GameCube was kind of a continuation of that, even though they made great efforts to get third-party developers in with them, including Capcom, including Namco. Like, the games were there. But anyway, um, it was my high school system, right? I remember getting it. I remember playing Smash Brothers Melee so much, just so much Super Smash Brothers Melee. Like it, it was a lot. Like I eventually wore out the controllers a lot. It wasn't right away. It was in college that it happened. It was kind of an infamous incident of the controllers not doing exactly what I wanted them to do, and then a controller getting launched into the hallway, perhaps, which was a very immature thing for someone to do, but they were a freshman in college and kind of an idiot, so it happened. But so much Super Smash Bros. Melee. I don't know if it was my first game for the system, but it was definitely why I bought the system, and it was a whole bunch of fun. It's still my favorite Smash Brothers game. Like it was very good. I'm on the internet. I don't know why I need to explain why Super Smash Bros. Melee was an incredible game, but I also probably started pretty early with Luigi's Mansion, which is still a favorite series of mine. It's just so different and peculiar. I mean, it's kind of the Ghostbusters game that wasn't, but at that point in time when it seemed like Nintendo wasn't going to create new characters, new franchise, hey, they created a new franchise. So very, very fun original game that they never quite went back to, but there wasn't a lot like in the beginning of the GameCube. That probably didn't help it either. Eventually, you get to things like Mario Sunshine, which was kind of disappointing after Mario 64, and Wind Waker, Zelda, which was kind of disappointing after Ocarina of Time. But this whole system was like undervalued, I guess, at the time. A bunch of people that were moving on. I guess my generation were moving on to more serious video game consoles, to first-person shooters and stuff like that. And my dorky ass in high school was playing games on the GameCube. Now, recently, I went downstairs to see in the basement where our video games are currently before our game room is done how many GameCube games we had. And I was kind of shocked that of all the systems we have, the GameCube is the one where we have the most games. Now, that's a combination of a couple things. One, three brothers, all of GameCube age at one point in time, getting games, all living at a time where our family had more disposable income than back in the Super NES age, for example. And later on, me buying a whole bunch of cheap GameCube games to review for this very YouTube channel. You can go find those games. I did not buy the WWE wrestling game for any reason other than to make a review of it. Anyway, yeah, we have like something like 47 GameCube games somehow. I I didn't realize, but I mean, I didn't play all of them. I was playing like all the big ones at the time, and my brother, who was younger than me, would come back and play like the Metroid Primes and a whole bunch of other stuff. And my younger brother than that would play, goofier things like the Lego Star Wars or like the egg game or stuff like that. So somehow we have just a butt ton of GameCube games. Now, I brought that with me to college, and it's kind of weird how my personal experiences in college like are kind of split along the same fashion as like the GameCube Wii split. Like I associate freshman year with having the GameCube and playing those the games when they came out, like the Four Swords Adventures or like Resident Evil or stuff like that. I think of playing them on a GameCube, and I think of my friends freshman year and my girlfriend at the time, and and later relationships and later parts of college I associate with the Wii. It just I guess we just associate the video games sometimes with different periods of our life. So I feel like oh God, freshman year, right? Living in the dorms, have a roommate, Nick, um, who we're friends now, but at the time it was a little more like, oh, he's my roommate. Nick, I would let play video games on my system because why not? And he was all into Legend of Zelda Wind Waker, like into it in a way where I would get annoyed because I'd be like, just go to the next area you need to go to. But he was like an explorer, so he would find all the little things, and I really wonder what he thought of Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild, because if he loved exploring in Wind Waker, my God, he would have loved exploring in Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild. So I enjoyed the GameCube. There's a whole bunch of really good games that came out for it. The Pikmins, the Luigi's Mansion, the Super Smash Bros. Melee, the Resident Evil 4, like all sorts of some good games that came out to that, and games that were maybe not necessarily Nintendo-y enough for the system, but yeah, people look back on it now and they're like, "Oh, that system was awesome." I'm like, I mean, I had fun with it. None of you people bought it for the most part compared to like the PlayStation 2 and stuff like that. But I mean, that was my experiences with it. Basically, an undervalued thing that people look back on fondly now when they have 47 video games for it for some reason.